Okay, so let's get rid of this solid here. And let's get rid of this. And we can also get rid of this one. Okay, so let's import our sky background. So I've made a picture in Iceland, and I will also put this in the asset folder that you can download. So you can also use this one. Sky backplate, let's drag it in our composition. We'll make it 3D and we'll put it somewhere in the background. So let's do pretty far. Let's do 5,000. Okay. Let's scale it up a bit. And maybe it's cool if we can just see a little bit of this horizon behind our rocks to make our scene look a little bit bigger. Maybe something like this. Okay, let's scale it up a little bit more. Oh, there are some mountains on the right here. Okay, so something like this. Well, actually, I'm gonna make it 185. Okay, let's see our horizon here. I just want to see it a little bit. Okay, like so. So this is looking good. And now we have to fix the issue here because our picture ends. And we can do that easily by duplicating this layer and turning it 90 degrees and then moving it up like this. So you can see the two layers intersecting here. Let's move it up some more until we reach the end of the other picture background. So okay, so let's have them intersect right on the end here. And then we'll take our first one and we'll drag it above the one we created. So we'll call this sky backplate, let's say 4 foreground. And then this one will be the back, the reserve. Okay. Let's scale this one up. Like so, and let's see if this will fix the issue. Okay, so almost. We have to move it a bit towards us. And when it just clears like this, that's a good position. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Now we have to get rid of our intersection here. So let's place a mask on our foreground layer. Mask tool, and we'll select the top part of this picture. So something like this. And then we'll say double M on the keyboard. And we'll say subtract, double M, and we can feather this edge. Okay, so let's do 900. Okay, so now we can still see the end of the picture, so 900 is too much, so we can either decrease this or we can lower the mask expansion. Increase the mask expansion. Okay, so this fixed the issue as well. Okay, now let's see. We can still see some kind of edge transition in here. So let's disable our ship. So we can take a better look. Okay, so let's see. So yeah, this is not looking right yet. So we need to fix this. So let's play with our backplate here. What if we scale this up some more? Maybe something like this, and then we'll squeeze it. So we'll disable the lock here, and we'll decrease the X value. Okay, so this is looking better. So we're just manipulating the image so that we get a better result. Okay. Okay, so let's take a look at this without our ship. So we'll say fit. Okay, so that's looking good. I don't see any edges or transitions in the sky now. Okay. Now next, let's make these clouds move a bit. So we can use a turbulent displacement. So let's drag it on the back one first. Okay, and this will basically just disturb or add some turbulence to the texture, as you can see here. Let's do 25 as an amount, and then we'll make the size a little bit bigger. So maybe something like this. And let's keyframe the evolution. So we'll place a keyframe here. It doesn't matter that it's not on the right spot. We just want to visualize this. I want to make another keyframe like 1 second later, and then just change the evolution. So let's do 200, and I just want to review this part of our composition, and let's see if we can see some movements in the clouds. Okay, so you get the idea, but we need to make this very subtle. And we'll just spread out these keyframes. So we'll select the layer here, press U, and then we'll just drag this one to the start and this one to the last frame. And now it should be way more subtle because it's spread out over a longer time period. Okay, so now I don't see anything moving. So we spread it out too much, so let's just increase the amount. So we'll go to the last keyframe here, and instead of 200 we'll say 300, or maybe even we'll do a full circle, 360. Okay, let's look at it again. Okay, so now we can see some movement. You see the sky is warping a bit, and it's looking fine. It's just very subtle, but it will add, it will look like it's some real clouds. Okay, so this is fine. So we can just copy this turbulent displace, and we'll paste it on our foreground layer as well. I did that wrong because it also copies the keyframes, and I wasn't on the first frame. So I'm just gonna Ctrl Z, go to the first frame, and then copy it. So now our keyframes are positioned correctly. Let's see the full composition here. So it's too much on this layer. As you can see, this is just way too much. So we'll just decrease the amount. So we'll say 15 or maybe 10. And let's see what this will give us. Okay, so I can see it moving, but this is not looking very realistic. So I just want to increase the size on this one. So let's do 250, because I want some bigger movements, but I also want them to be a bit less, I want them to be more subtle. So I'm gonna decrease the amount even more. And let's take a look at this. Okay, this is looking pretty cool. I still think we need to decrease the evolutions a bit. So I'll just say U and go to the last frame, and I'll change this to 230 degrees. So now it was 360 and we changed it to 230. So this should be fine. Okay, so one thing we need to do now is we don't want to have the turbulence on our horizon here. We need this to be a straight line. So we'll just make another copy of our foreground, and we'll call this our horizon. And then we delete the turbulent displace from that one. And we make a new mask, and we want to select the horizon. So horizon and down. Okay, and then we have to delete the mask that was already on this one. So we'll delete mask 1. We only have mask 2. And then let's feather this a little bit. So tap M twice, and we'll say 100. Yeah. So this is right. And then we have, yeah, okay. So this should be fine. Another thing we can do to add some more movement is we can animate our sky layers, so our foreground and our back. We can have them move from left to right a little bit during our shot, which would look like the clouds are moving from left to right. So let's place a keyframe for both these layers on the first frame, and then we go to, well, let's just take a look here, because in here we can't see the layers anymore, so we'll just do it here. So let's move this one a bit to the right, so maybe something like this. So what was that? It was from 350 to 600, so we added 250. Let's also do that on our backplate here. 350. Let's also make that 600. Okay, and then we drag these keyframes to the last frame again. Okay, so now let's play this. Okay, and just like that we have moving clouds. Awesome.